Thanks, Ben.
I call the Marlington Local School District Board of Education regular meeting to order on August 6, 2020 at 7:01 p.m. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance.
I pledge
to the
allegiance
flag
to the flag
United
of the United
States
States of America and
and
to the republic
For which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands,
one nation, under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
The reading of the mission statement is by Mrs. Humphries.
In collaboration with staff, community, parents, and students, the Marlington Local School District will develop lifelong learners who understand and apply knowledge and demonstrate excellence in pursuing the highest standards with effective intervention to challenge every student.
Thank you. Roll call will be by our new treasurer, Dr. Patty May.
Mrs. Gabrick,
Here.
Mr. Hagan,
Here,
Mrs. Humphries,
Here.
Dr. Mason,
Here.
Ms. Stevens.
here.
Adoption of the meeting agenda. Are there any additions or corrections? Is there a motion for the Marlington Board of Education to adopt the following agenda for the August 6, 2020 meeting?
So move.
Is that Danielle?
Danielle?
Patty.
Or was that Mrs. Humphries? I'm
That-
sorry.
Danielle was first, and who's second?
second, Hagan.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any discussion? Dr. Main, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Gabrick,
Yes?
Mr. Hagan,
Yes,
Mrs. Humphries,
Yes.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens.
Yes.
Approved 5-0.
Public participation. Was there any public participation submitted to the treasurer for tonight's meeting?
There was not.
Okay, so there'll be no public participation tonight. Any old business? And then going on to new business, Dr. Schroeffler, would you like to present the new business?
Yes. Good evening again, everybody. We have a simple resolution or just a simple addition to student handbooks. I believe this came out of our Superintendent Association suggesting that we add this simple piece to our handbooks, just stating that we are requiring our students to wear masks and that we are backing that policy. And as you know now, Governor DeWine has made that mandatory. But we felt that we should add that to our student handbooks, just to be clear.
Okay, is there a motion to amend the student handbooks to include the language concerning face coverings as presented in the agenda as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved.
Mr. Hagan,
Dr. Mason, is
Dr. Mason. Okay, sorry about that.
there a second?
I'll second it.
Karen, did you second?
Yes,
Second.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Karen, second. Is there any discussion?
Oh, you already seconded it?
Yeah.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Gabrick,
Yes?
Mr. Hagan,
Yes,
Mrs. Humphries,
Yes.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens.
Yes.
And
Approved
the
5-0.
second, oh, sorry about that, Dr.
Not
Minnie.
my fault.
The second piece there, Mrs. Gabrick and I had some conversation. There's nothing to pass tonight, but we felt that we should probably talk about our public participation policy when we go back to face-to-face meetings, which hopefully will be soon. We've both looked at what other boards are doing, and I'll kick this off, and then I'll let Mrs. Gabrick talk to you a little bit. Uh, Most boards limit the amount of time that a person can have. 2 to 3 minutes seems to be what most boards are doing. And then most boards also limit the total amount of time for public participation. Some boards will also limit the number of people that speak on the same topic. And those are basically the three things that most board policies reflect.
Okay, and that would be specifically, our current policy is 169.1, so that would be proposing some changes to the current policy. And again, this is just for discussion. So, I'll open it up for discussion on any preferences the board members may have.
I think at a normal time, or I'll say historically, this has not been an issue. I know it's been 3 minutes if you sign up that night. It's been 10 minutes if you sign up ahead of time. 10 minutes is a lot of time. Most people don't use that. So, I mean, the 2 to 3 minute thing, I think we should stay at 3 minutes. I think we're not, as I said, it's been unprecedented situations that have caused our public speaks to go on longer. So personally, I don't know as I think that there really needs to be any change at this time, because we haven't even had these. Maybe something, if there would be a change, maybe something to consider is that in addition to providing public speaks at a meeting, maybe the speeches or what is spoken should be submitted in writing also and attached to the minutes as they are currently. So they're part of the record. That might be something that would help.
Anyone else?
I would, sorry, go ahead.
You're first.
Okay, thanks. I would just say, I mean, I do think that there should be a time limit. Our board meetings have been quite astronomically long for a lot of people that have been waiting. I know a lot of parents too have waited for a lot of the public speaks, and it does seem like when some of our board meetings have ended at 11 or midnight, then parents are having a hard time getting their kids to bed and things like that, or have to leave early, so they're missing out on some of the informative parts of the meeting as well. So I would be fine with limiting the time amount. I don't know if we should limit the number of people to speak on the same topic, just because I feel, I mean, we ran so we could hear what others have to say, but I do think that there should be a time limit for sure. So just to let everyone have their, what they want to say to us and what they want to address to us, but, cut that down to the 2 to 3 minutes versus just allowing, only a certain number of people. Maybe that would.
Dr. Mike?
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh.
Dr. Mike, do we have any idea where we would plan on having physical meetings if we go back to them soon?
Well, I know you were rotating, were you, to each school building before? Is that how you did it before?
Yeah. My only concern now with COVID is, limiting, the spread and us having meetings in the school buildings. That's my only concern. Is there another place that the board could meet so that we could limit that as well?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit in the office about that probably the DLZ at the high school would be a good place. There's plenty of room. We can really space out. We can set up chairs. That would be one possibility for sure. And everybody knows where the high school.
But are we going to have? Are we going to have additional costs associated with, cleaning afterwards, disinfecting, and having, the general public at the meetings as well? I'm just seeing it as, more exposure to the school for people to bring in, coronavirus possibly.
I don't think there would be, if we had it at the high school, I don't think there would be much additional cost, maybe a little bit of overtime for that custodian at night. We are equipping them with some really modern tools to disinfect that will save them a little bit of time. But we would have to disinfect after. That's the fact of the matter.
Okay. I just think it would make sense if we had somewhere else where, you know, the students weren't going to be there the next day possibly.
We could
I
look
mean,
into that.
that would limit it 100%.
Yeah, we can look into that. I don't know if there's a community building that someone would be willing to let us come in if we helped with the disinfecting, and we can look for that.
Okay.
Dr. Mason, do you have any preferences on the public participation?
I mean, I don't think I have a problem with limiting, if we're going to limit everybody to 3 minutes, that seems to be fine. We might want to change the bylaw to read that people need to sign up ahead of time. And then I think Karen's idea of submitting what they're going to say that will become part of the record would fit into that. That would also help us to plan. If we knew 3 minutes and we knew X number of people were going to do it ahead of time, then the plan would happen to make it work timing wise. So it wouldn't go too long, or if we had to ask somebody, well, can a couple of you go next month or next time? You know, I think that would help if that's the concern. And I mean, that's I think what my suggestion would be on it.
Okay, thank you. Through the OSBA meetings I've attended, like Dr. Mike said, the majority of the boards limit each participant to 2 or 3 minutes maximum. They, as you said, they wouldn't have to sign up ahead. They would just show up and deliver their speech. Most of them don't require that in writing. That could be something we require or not require, or make it optional. And the suggested number of minutes per meeting total, the majority of the boards limit it to a total of 20 minutes. And that's with the idea that the main purpose of the meeting is to conduct board business. So you don't want the public speaks to consume so much of the meeting that it's difficult to get the business done. Our current policy does allow us to prohibit repetitive speeches, frivolous or harassing speeches. So if everyone were talking on the same thing, we do currently have the right to limit that. But if we're not going over the topic time or the total time, it may not matter. So what I'm hearing is most people are good with a total of 3 minutes per person for everyone, and they don't have to sign up ahead. Is that what we're thinking?
I think that's fair.
And then is everybody okay with limiting the total time to 20 minutes per meeting?
That sounds reasonable.
I would say so.
I think if there's a total time limit, then there should be the option of the minutes of them being attached to the minutes.
And you want to require that they be submitted in writing?
Not require, but an option. If they
Oh, an
so,
option.
if they, yeah,
Okay.
if they want to, that they can be submitted.
So if they submit it in writing, are we going to stay with the 3 o'clock Friday deadline so the treasurer has an opportunity to get it compiled into the minutes for the agenda and everything?
That's fine.
You're good with that? Okay. And the other issue that boards consider is whether the topic should pertain only to what's on the agenda or any topic.
I think we need to let them have any topic.
Any
Uh,
topic?
I've seen some boards divide that up and put, agenda topics and then a separate line for just general. That's an option. And then also I might suggest if we do that, if a person wants to speak, we could have just a simple form when people walk in, would you like to speak? That way, even though they state their name and address, we have that for the record. And then we know that if it's an agenda item or not. And then the treasurer can sort those.
Okay. I believe we do have that form, and hopefully we can find that, and you can take a look at that and see if that needs adjusted to what to any preferences you would want on that.
Sounds good.
And then is there anything else for this particular policy that anyone wants to address? It's my understanding this will be for when we're back to face-to-face meetings, and we'll continue with the current plan and for now until we're back to face-to-face. Is that what we're thinking?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Okay. All right, so is that going to be submitted to Neola and then put into a policy that can be presented to the board
Yes, we can.
at the
Carolyn,
next meeting or the following?
Yep. Mrs.
Okay.
Sutton and I can take care of that.
Okay. All right, then moving to the treasurer's agenda, Dr. Main, do you want to go over the treasurer's agenda?
Okay, recommend the motion to approve the minutes. We have four dated minutes to approve. And they should be attached.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes as attached?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second. Humphrey.
Okay, thank you.
And is there any discussion? I talked to Dr. Mike a bit ago, and there are some minor changes to each of those meeting minutes. So therefore, I'm going to move to table to approve these minutes until the next meeting. Is there a second for that motion?
Second.
Is there any discussion on tabling the motion? I'll just present those changes to Dr. Mike or Dr. Main, and we'll get those corrections made and present those then at the next meeting. Dr. Main, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Gabriel,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries.
Yeah.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Miss Stevens,
Yes.
approved 5-0.
Personnel consent agenda, Dr. Schruffler.
Okay, we have a couple of resignations. I recommend the motion to accept the resignation of Stephanie Carson, intervention specialist, that was effective immediately. A motion to accept the resignation of Clay Libertor, Title I tutor, effective immediately, and recommend the motion to accept the resignation of Janine Harris as the Title I tutor, effective immediately. And then under certified hires, I'm recommending the motion to hire the following: a 1-year limited contract, 2021 school year pending verification of credentials, BCI and FBI, Clay Liberator, so he will move to an intervention specialist teacher, Samuel Alfay, our integrated business teacher. And then we have the following title tutors that we are able to hire: I have to recommend the motion for the 2021 school year pending verification of satisfactory credentials, BCI and FBI checks. So that will be Grace Flores, EL tutor, Danielle Bradfield, title tutor, and Chelsea Miller, title tutor. Then on the classified side, recommend the motion to accept the resignation of Patricia Peterson, bus driver, effective immediately, and recommend the motion to accept the resignation of Sarah Mihalkovic. I hope I said that right. I practiced that. Latchkey, effective immediately. And then we have one supplemental. Recommend the motion to accept the resignation of Austin Wade, assistant boys soccer coach, effective immediately.
Is there a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendations on personnel?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any
Who was-
discussion?
I'm sorry, who moved?
That was Hagan.
Okay, thank
and
you.
Stevens.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Gabrick,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries,
Yes.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
approved 5-0.
Executive session. The Marlington Local School District Board of Education shall recess into consecutive executive sessions for the purposes of 1, conferencing with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are a subject of an imminent court action. 2, considering the investigation of charges and/or complaints against a public official. 3, considering confidential information related to the marketing plan, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, and/or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance and/or negotiations with other political subdivisions respecting requests for the economic development assistance, since the information is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under revised code 5709.40 to revised code 5709.43, and a unanimous quorum of the board hereby determines by roll call vote that the executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant and/or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project. 4, considering matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or regulations or state statutes. 5, considering the compensation of a public employee/official, and 6, considering the compensation of a public employee/official. All matters discussed in these executive sessions are designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to revised code 102.03b because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of government business. Is there a motion?
So move.
Danielle is first. Is there a second?
Second.
That's Josh.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Mrs. Gabrick,
Yes.
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries,
Yes.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
is approved 5-0, time in 7:25.
Right, if you would all exit out of your public portion of the meeting and Right, Patty, I had 8:18 that we were declared out of executive session. And is there a motion to amend the agenda to add the authorization for payment of unused vacation?
So moved. Hagan?
Thank
Second,
you.
Stevens.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gabrick,
Yes?
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
So
Dr.
moved.
Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
approved 5-0.
Is there a motion to authorize the treasurer to pay out the unused vacation pay of 66 unused days to Joe Knoll pursuant to board policy and 1.67 unused vacation days to Katie Bruger at her daily rate?
So move. Humphries.
Second. Hagan?
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gabrick,
Yes?
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
approved 5-0.
Are there any announcements? The next board meeting, regular meeting, August 20th at 7 p.m. via remote technology. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So move. Stevens.
Thank you.
Second. Humphries.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Ms. Gabrick,
Yes?
Mr. Hagan,
Yes.
Ms. Humphries,
Yes.
Dr. Mason,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
approved 5-0.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you,
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.